Hey guys, I'm ZeldaMaster and welcome back to another Breath of the Wild discussion. In this video I have my good friend Matt. Why don't you go introduce yourself?
Hey, what's up everybody? As Luke said, my name is Matt, but you probably know me better by my YouTube username, AwesomeFaceProd.
Yeah, and we're going to be talking about Breath of the Wild in this video. I thought I'd have Matt on so we can get his impressions and takes on the game. And for this video, I want to talk about shrines versus temples. But before we get into that, Matt, just like myself, actually went to E3 and was able to play the demo. So what do you think so far of Breath of the Wild? That way people can know your input on the game thus far.
Man, from what I played, Breath of the Wild was a lot of fun,
Yeah.
I know myself, you, and like a couple other people that we've talked to, we've all said that like Breath of the Wild is the Zelda game that
It's what we've been waiting for pretty much.
Exactly. It's like when you
Yeah.
first played Zelda, like when you were a kid, it's like you imagined what Breath of the Wild is, and now it's actually here.
Yeah. No, you are so right. It's like Nintendo finally can make all of their dreams come true with what they wanted Ocarina of Time or any game to be. Because they always say how this game is supposed to be a, not necessarily reimagining of Zelda 1, but what they wanted Zelda 1 to be with the open world and everything. And it's kind of like paying tribute to that, to where it's going to be so open world just like Zelda 1. So we are getting the true Zelda when you do think about it.
Exactly.
Yeah, but the thing is, man, this game has been changing and has been straying away from the Zelda formula a lot. Like, from what we've seen so far, if I showed this gameplay to someone who only played, let's say, Ocarina of Time, they would not know this is a Zelda, even down to, like, Link's, attire. He is wearing blue, and that's his main suit, and he's gonna be looking like that even most likely on the final artwork of the game and the final box and everything. Like, this isn't just for now. I'm pretty sure Link is meant to have the champion suit throughout the whole game, or at least like that's gonna be his main suit, because you get it later on. You'd even start out the game with that. So it's just, I don't know, it's really weird to think about, because when you do like put this game compared to every other Zelda game, it is so much different. And then on top of it, shrines. Like, Zelda has been known for temples, and we're not getting, we might, have they confirmed it? Do you know, like, are we getting temples?
As far as I know, the rumor that there's only 4 major temples is unconfirmed at this point. Like, I looked it up.
I've heard that too, and it just, I don't really, I'm not sure if we're getting temples. I feel like Nintendo hasn't officially confirmed that yet. So it's still like, is it only shrines? Is it the 100+ shrines, or 100 or whatever amount of shrines Nintendo confirmed there to be, and that's it? Or are we getting something else in between? And it's scary to think about, because you can look at a game like Majora's Mask, and it didn't have many temples. Actually, it had 4, like what the rumor is. So, but it had so many side quests that it added to the game. But, I don't know. Not many people like the game. Like, what's your opinion on Majora's Mask? Do you think it stands up as a Zelda game on its own, or do you think it needs Ocarina of Time to be its backbone, to be like, oh, reference this game to Ocarina of Time, and that's, what Majora's Mask is, a continuation, a sequel? That's how a lot of people see it. I personally don't. I think you can play Majora's Mask on its own and be like, yeah, it's a fun, enjoyable standalone game. I don't need to know Ocarina of Time to enjoy it, but you will enjoy it to its fullest if you played Ocarina of Time. But it's like that with any game that has a sequel or prequel to it.
Right. So. No, a lot of people think like, oh, Majora's Mask is the little brother to Ocarina of Time, like as you said. But no, for myself personally, I think Majora's Mask actually stands just slightly taller than Ocarina. Like, I actually prefer it over Ocarina, having played both.
I'm with you 100%. Yeah, exactly.
So no, I think that the changes that it made, while I wouldn't say they're not necessarily for the better of the overall like entire series of the game, they're not bad changes, and they certainly made the game stand out and made it its own thing, rather than just like another N64 Zelda game,
Yeah, it was nice, but it still, held true to what Zelda was. It had the temples, the bosses, it even had something I believe Ocarina of Time wanted to implement, which was like, a type of arrow for each temple, but instead we just kind of reused what Ocarina of Time had, which were the 4 elements, or the 3 elements. Wait, is it 4? It's 3.
It's 3.
It's 3. And actually, speaking of which, Breath of the Wild might be getting those 3 elements. At least confirmed 2 of them are coming back, so that's exciting. But yeah, so you like the Majora's Mask formula, and what I'm trying to get at here is, what would your opinion be if Breath of the Wild only had shrines and no temples, and kind of did what Majora's Mask did, where it changed the game up, but it added a lot to it. Because, okay, you may say, at least from what we've seen in the shrines, there aren't any big bad bosses. There aren't anything that is defining the shrine to be a temple you overcome. It's just certain trials, certain puzzles, blah, blah, blah. But in the outside world, there seems to be a lot of side questing to do already with big bad bosses. We've seen that giant stone thing. I already forgot the name for it. But, like, that's just an overworld boss. Same thing with the Guardians we've seen all throughout the world, and like the amount of hordes of like enemies. So I feel like the overworld is so massive that maybe the whole game will be outside and the shrines are the only thing taking place in a closed off area. And I feel like that would make sense for the game being called Breath of the Wild. The game is in the wild. It's just the shrines that are hidden.
Yeah, that would be interesting to see if they took it in that direction. I think we've only seen from all the gameplay from E3 and stuff like that, like maybe 4 or 5 of the different shrines. And of those shrines, like, it seemed like the ones later on in the game actually got a little bit longer and a little bit harder in terms of puzzles. But you're right, we didn't see any bosses or anything like that inside the shrines themselves. Personally, I don't think Nintendo is gonna do away with the whole like temple mechanic. Like, it seems like that would just be such a waste if they got rid of that for Breath of the Wild. Like, I imagine
wouldn't truly be Zelda.
Yeah,
honestly.
I imagine like the temples in Breath of the Wild would just be like massive and incredible, and you could do like so many cool things with the different elements and different like areas in the world. Like when you go up the mountain that's like super cold or whatever, you could have like a dungeon that's completely based around ice and stuff like that, or something based around lava, which obviously isn't really new to Zelda, but I feel like it would be entirely different in Breath of the Wild just due to how sort of the game sort of plays of what we've seen so far.
Yeah, no, that's very true. And like, I mean, a good example would be like the Magnesis. Yeah, like being able to control a giant boulder, a giant rock or something, and then manipulate it to how you want to use it. And it's so cool to like think about that. But I mean, those are like essentials in the Sheikah Shrines, and you obtain them in the Sheikah Shrines, and you use them throughout the Sheikah Shrines, to where it's like, so what are the temples going to have? What are the temples going to offer? What are they going to give you that's going to stand out? Is it going to be the items? Maybe? I mean, have we seen any items in the Sheikah Shrines that Link has obtained? We've seen him obtain a lot of cool items in the overworld, but I don't know if that's just there.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe, I'm thinking maybe they might have the temples either give you like super important items that are like needed for the plot in some way, or maybe they'll give you like really good gear, because there has to be some incentive to make the player go through these dungeons. If you're getting all like the items and stuff from the overworld and getting all your runes and stuff from the shrines, like what would be the drive to complete a temple? I think it's probably going to be like really good gear that you're going to want.
Yeah, no, I can see that too. Like, just really, maybe, because I mean, okay, bow, sword, shield, it looks like those are mandatory. You're going to be using throughout the whole game. And then the Magnesis, is there any reason for them to bring back other items? Like, we've seen Link like control everything. I just feel like a lot of items are going to be kind of not too helpful, maybe.
Yeah.
Because when you think about Link also moves a lot different, the combat system is just so much different that I have no idea. I mean, we have the glider too when you do think about it, but I can't really think of like anything else that like truly stands out aside from like the crazy variety of weapons that you're able to obtain.
I feel like the boomerang still needs to make an appearance.
I hope so. I always loved the boomerang. I thought it was a unique item, like the magical boomerang, how it like comes back like so well, and like can shoot like or stun enemies. I thought it was unique how like not every item did the exact same thing, which was kill enemies.
I think stunning enemies is actually like, if the boomerang does make an appearance in Breath of the Wild, I think stunning enemies is definitely going to help the combat a lot, because it is so different. And like normally I don't use the boomerang a whole lot whenever I play Zelda games.
Yeah,
but
neither do I.
I feel like I would use it a lot more in Breath of the Wild if it had the same mechanics that it does in the previous Zelda games.
Yeah, no, I mean, Twilight Princess had by far the best boomerang. I mean, Gale Boomerang is so awesome, yeah. But, I mean, overall, we are so in the dark, it's ridiculous, though, because, like,
pretty much.
We don't even know, like, have they confirmed even heart pieces? Like, that's something I'm also
Um,
not too sure
I
of.
don't believe so. Maybe
also makes
maybe that's
temples
actually what it'll
obsolete.
be. Maybe
Yeah,
like
well-
the dungeons will have heart containers, like permanent heart containers, because I don't even think they've confirmed that yet.
That'd be cool if they went like a Phantom Hourglass route and you can only have heart containers and no heart pieces, and the dungeons, like, that was like its main prize, and the shrines held, you know, like
The items, yeah.
The items, yeah, the runes and stuff that made it more worth it. Because 100 shrines, I don't know what, like, okay, I understand a couple runes, a couple this, that, like, there's no way you're going to be getting something useful out of every single one unless they, like,
Right.
put their whole focus in. That's what I'm saying. I feel like this is a really, like, big thing to consider. It's 100 shrines. So, like, how are we supposed to get the huge, you know, exciting temples that we're used to, and also get the amazing side questing that we're used to? And it just seems like it's too much packed in one, and we've never really seen Nintendo go for like something this big. I feel like this is a huge like difference in like all of Zelda, but like I feel like it's gonna get a lot of attraction. A lot of people are waiting for this, and like hopefully Nintendo delivers, because if they do, I can see a lot of fans who never played Zelda just get into the franchise because of this one game, because of how much it's doing to the franchise. It is taking all of these old and like newer games and just melding them all into one with the title The Legend of Zelda, which is already like, you know, a really loved franchise because it's the Legend of Zelda. Yeah, so
I think like the closest Nintendo's ever gotten to something like this was Xenoblade Chronicles X on the Wii U, which wasn't really developed by Nintendo directly. It was by Monolith Soft, which Nintendo owns, and they are helping with the development of Breath of the Wild.
Yeah. When I first saw the reveal trailer of like our first actual E3 trailer, I'm like, this looks like Xenoblade. Like, this looks a lot like the newer Xenoblade that came out.
Yeah, and that game was,
so I do agree.
I mean, it was pretty good. A lot of, like, the hardcore Xenoblade fans still prefer the original, but, I think the fact that Monolith Soft has their hand in the development of this game is a good sign, because with the original Xenoblade and now with X, they've proven that they're, more than capable of creating games, of these massive scales within
that's
these,
what they're known for, right?
Within these like constraints of like Nintendo's system, because if you think about it, like the original Xenoblade was a massive game, but it was released on the least powerful console that generation, the Wii. And then X, same thing, like huge game, like very little loading screens, like stuff like that, massive open world, released on the Wii U instead of like, you know, the PS4 or the Xbox One. So I think they have a handle of how to scale their games appropriately and make them filled with interesting things and, you know, stuff to do.
I've never played X or the original, but like I know you Let's played X, right?
No, I enjoyed X actually. It was my first game in the Xenoblade series, but there was a lot of content in the game. You know, I enjoyed the story throughout it. I didn't do a lot of like the post game or like I guess like super side questy stuff, but there was definitely a lot to keep you interested in that game, and just like exploring the world in general was fun. And you would always find like you know, nooks and crannies with like these epic monsters that 99% of the time when you found them, they would just like kill you in one shot because you weren't ready to fight them. But I mean, that's sort of what I imagine Breath of the Wild is also going to feel like with those overworld bosses like the rock monster golems and the guardians.
Yeah, no, I mean, they already kind of referenced it with the whole fact of somehow you can fight Ganon early on within the game. So that means you can pretty much do whatever the heck you want, even if you're not ready for it. And see, to me, I feel like that just sparks a lot of like controversy, because it feels like, I don't know, like a lot of people might not like the idea of this new Zelda game if you can fight the boss that easily. Like, should it really be that simple? Should it be that open? And I don't think it even can be that open. I think it was a very, very extreme exaggeration of how open world this game truly is. I don't think it's actually that open.
Yeah, neither do I, because I mean, if you think about it, like they start you out on the Great Plateau, and you can't get down until you get the glider, and you can't get the glider until you like finish the first 4 shrines. So saying, you know, you can just start the game and go directly to Ganon isn't exactly true, but I understand why they said it like from a marketing standpoint, because I mean, when you hear that, it's like, oh man, that sounds awesome. But
yeah,
it's
it
not
sounds
exactly the
awesome, but it also sounds risky. Like, see, I look at it differently. I don't look at it just, oh yeah, dude, I can do whatever I want. I also look at it as like, this could be lacking. Like, it could not be exactly what I'm expecting, and it could just kind of ruin the whole progression of the game if it's that open world. I want a sense of story. Zelda is known for its like crazy plot, and I'm not saying I want it to be linear. I would say a really good example of a Zelda game that had a really linear, like, progressive story, but I mean had the best story was Skyward Sword.
Yeah.
Like, Skyward Sword was such a good story, but it was definitely, it focused a lot on the story. It was all about the story, if anything. But I still enjoyed it. Imagine a game that gives you the gameplay awesome, like which Skyward Sword was lacking, and then also give you a really good story. That seems like the perfect game, and I feel like Breath of the Wild could be that, but with how barren it looks, you know, we're obviously unsure.
Yeah,
and we're
that
just
combination is just it's hard to find that balance of story and gameplay. And the thing is, like, I mean, we can look at all the gameplay we've seen and be like, all right, it looks bearing in terms of story, but I think that's kind of intentional by Nintendo. Like, they gave you just like a fraction of the story of the game. Like, all right, that's it. You know, that's all you saw for 4 years while you were waiting for this game. See you on release. It's like, all right, thanks, Nintendo. Thanks.
Yeah.
I think they got something big planned though.
Yeah, no, I'm also thinking the same thing. I'm thinking, like, in reality, we've seen, like, they confirmed 2% of what the game really is. So maybe we know nothing about the game. Maybe we're literally so clueless, and there's going to be, like, 8 temples. There's going to be everything you want to expect from a Zelda game and more, but that's never happened.
Yeah, I don't know. I think there will probably be around 7 or 8 temples, and I say that because, in one of the trailers, or in some footage, you actually, like, inside the Temple of Time, near, like, the base of the goddess statue, there's, like, 7 or 8 little things positioned around it that look kind of there intentionally, and I feel like those might represent, like, the 7 or 8 temples that are in the game. Again, that's just, like, wild speculation, but, I don't know, it seems a little too, like, purposeful to not mean anything, you know?
Yeah, no, I agree, and, like, I mean, okay, that makes sense, and the Temple of Time, I feel like that's also something I don't really want to get too into, because I don't even believe that's the same one from Ocarina of Time. A lot of people disagree with me. I feel like we're never going to know, because we're also in this, like, we're just in the dark with everything when it comes to this game. But I do know what you're talking about, and I did interact with all of that, and like I definitely tried to like play as much of the Temple of Time as I could. I think like one of the demos I played at E3, it was just in the Temple of Time, because I was so confused with why the goddess statue was all of a sudden there, and you could pray to it, and then they had all of those little things around it, and plus it looked nothing like Ocarina of Time's.
Yeah.
But it has Calamity Ganon. I'm thinking maybe, if anything, whether this game has nothing to do with the 3 timeline split and is before, and Calamity Ganon is a nickname for what Ganondorf ended up becoming, and it has nothing to do with Ganondorf from Ocarina of Time. This is like the spirit before Ganondorf.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, timeline speculation at this point is... It could go anywhere. I mean, I talked to you...
Oh, I don't believe that strongly. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like, this is a game, so we could literally have anything. Like, it's literally up to Nintendo to do it. So we can't even speculate. It's just literally it can be anything. But I don't believe in that. I'm just saying it's a possibility. Even though people say, oh, Ganon was confirmed, or I even said that. I said Ganon, you know, he was confirmed as Ganon after Ocarina of Time when he became the Demon Lord Ganon, not or you know, the Demon King Ganon.
Yeah.
Not Lord. Son it off. But yeah, it doesn't really matter, does it?
No,
like,
not really.
Son it off. Like, have to be super accurate with this title, Demon King. But yeah, the Demon King Ganon was given, like, he was given that name from Ganondorf when he transformed into the giant pig. So it's just like, that's what makes people assume, oh, it has to be after Ocarina of Time. But like I'm saying, this is a game, so like the possibilities are absolutely endless. It could be before Skyward Sword.
I mean, it could be. I mean,
it could be.
Yeah,
if Nintendo wants to create a completely different timeline that has nothing to do with all of this, they can.
Yeah.
Nintendo wants to make this not canon. I highly doubt it. That'd be so
I don't know. That would be a weird.
That's just taking it too far.
Yeah, let's not go there.
Yeah, no, I really hope it's it's in the Zelda timeline, you know?
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
Yeah, dude.
in the grand scheme of things, timeline doesn't really matter, but it is nice to have some sort of
It's just nice
structure
to
and
speculate.
semblance. Yeah, plus...
It's
plus
like that with anything. You know?
Plus it seems like Nintendo, at least as of recently, with like all the other Zelda games that have been released since the timeline, have been sort of at least trying to place them all coherently in the timeline. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I noticed that. I'm like after Ocarina of Time, I knew, like, when you look at Wind Waker and Twilight Princess, you can tell that they had in mind the timeline split. But then when you look at every other Zelda game in the Fallen timeline, it seems like there was no, like, process behind it. And that's why they were all forced in it. That's why that's the timeline I dislike the most. I've spoke about this on my channel tons of times, but yeah, no, it's just like, it's literally just, it's a game, so we really don't know. But I mean, overall, yeah, it's just so exciting, because even though I just say it's just a game, it's still a huge part of
absolutely
my life.
Yeah,
So,
same.
Yeah, like, I mean, I spend so much time talking, thinking, like, it's ridiculous. This game is,
it's gonna be great.
It's been a while in the making. It's gonna be amazing regardless. Just running around in the overworld as Link and just being in the Zelda universe, being able to, like, explore an open world. I think that alone will make the game so worth it. That I know I'm gonna enjoy it regardless. I'm gonna have the most biased opinion of this game, and you cannot change that with me, because I'm just in love with this game from what we've seen so far. I feel like it's like that with anyone. Any franchise you like, that you're obsessed with, you're going to like the game. You're going to always see it differently than most other people who aren't into the franchise.
I'm the same way for sure. Like, I was just thinking to myself actually the other day, like, about Breath of the Wild, and I was like, you know, from what I played, Nintendo would have to, like, try to make this a bad game, because what we've played, even though it was just, you know, so small and so limited, like, I already enjoyed it.
Was so much fun. It was a lot of fun. I don't have fun playing demos, and I don't even like playing demos, because it's so, like, it's just like I get a taste of something that I could see almost in gameplay. But this was definitely a way different experience. And the gameplay is actually a lot for those who haven't played it. Like, the gameplay is a lot different than what it looks. It does not play like a normal Zelda game. It actually requires more strategic combat, which is so cool to even think that, like, this game has a difficulty, like, curve in learning its combat system. Because I mean, look at Wind Waker. Wind Waker is the best example of just basic controls. It is so, I mean, Twilight Princess, they tried to fix it, and then in Skyward Sword they just completely destroyed it with motion controls. But I feel like maybe Nintendo's finally taking the right direction. You know, they threw away the stupid concept of motion controls, and they're giving us a controller. I mean, we played it literally on the controller. I mean, we had to use the gamepad, but I don't really care, 'cause I feel like with the gamepad and how important it is and how it plays out in Breath of the Wild, that the Wii U version is going to be so important. But at the same time, what's the NX going to have that's going to make your gamepad or your whatever stand out? We don't even know if the NX has a gamepad.
Yeah, I don't know. I think for sure the NX is going to have something. Like, all the patents and the rumors and stuff that have been going around, they say that it's going to be sort of a dual system, like with a main system, like a secondary screen. So I think there will be some semblance of a gamepad there. And it seems like you said, there is an importance of the gamepad in Breath of the Wild already. So it would make sense for that to be the same with the NX, because of, you know, since it's going to release on both systems. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how it plays, though. I think it probably will be able to be played with just like the Pro Controller, though, too, as well.
I really hope so. I would like that, because games like Wind Waker and Twilight Princess used the gamepad as a feature, like the map or whatever.
Yeah.
And then you had the option of just picking a Pro Controller, which made it like the original games. And not recording, I prefer the gamepad, actually. It's nice to, like, use the gamepad to have quick item swaps and, like, to have the map on you.
Yeah.
And, like, the gamepad as a controller isn't really that bad. At least I've grown used to it. So, like, when playing this game, it was really fun to play on the gamepad. And I feel like it felt like an extension. It really felt like I was holding the Sheikah Slate, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I mean, the gamepad's pretty comfy. Gamepad's pretty comfy.
Yeah.
I don't have any, like, too many complaints with it. I am glad they got rid of motion controls and went back to a standard controller. I want to go back to, like, what you said about the changes, though. So yeah, like a lot of people obviously haven't gotten a chance to play it because they've only like demoed it at E3, and
Yeah.
I think maybe Gamescom in Europe, and only like 100 people got to play it there. So obviously we're in like the elite few who have gone to actually play the game, but it is different, and I've noticed a lot of people, like whenever I talk about it on my channel or whatever, like people in the comments will say, oh, this game looks too different from Zelda, it's not what Zelda is. And yeah, it looks different on the surface and it plays a little bit differently, but I don't think people should be writing it off just because it looks different. I think you should definitely give it a chance. Like obviously we're talking as like biased Zelda fans, but even if like
from a standpoint, this is an open world RPG that has a badass looking character with badass weapons who can, I mean, come on, like if I wasn't into Zelda, this game would have to draw me in.
Yeah.
Like this is different. This is not like other Zelda. It's not an elf boy that you're gonna be, dealing with. You can't even look like that anymore. In this game, you can even customize his hair. Like it's just whatever you want to do, and I feel like that's cool how you can customize Link, because it's kind of like Link is your character, like you are Link, but at the same time Link is his own character. I always felt that way with Zelda. It was very different. That's what's really cool about having a silent protagonist, because you feel like you're them, but if you still give the character something unique to make him stand out and have him named Link, then you're still gonna feel like it's Link, but you feel like you are them. It's so hard to explain how that feeling is, but it's way different than playing a game like, let's say, Uncharted and being Nathan Drake. You're Nathan, like, it's like a movie. It's way like, you don't get that same feeling as you would in Zelda, even though you're still playing as a established video game character, which is Link. It doesn't feel like that at all. It feels like it's more up to you and who you are, and Link kind of reflects your personality.
Yeah, you can sort of like imprint your own personality on the character. And I think that is one of the strongest suits of having a silent protagonist, because obviously, as you mentioned, like when you're playing other games that have characters like Nathan Drake, or in my case, since I've never played any Uncharted, like Commander Shepard from Mass Effect would be like the closest parallel that I can draw, because you're playing games like that, and it's like, for the most part, you can identify with those characters, but there are points where if your character isn't like a silent protagonist or something, they'll say something or do an action that would be different than, something you would say or how you would do it, and as a result, it does sort of present a disconnect between like you and that character when you're playing the game. And it's kind of like a double-edged sword, because on one hand it's like you get to know these characters and they have like development, where on the other hand though you're sort of disconnected from them and you don't get to like feel like that's you in the game, That's
very true, but at the same time I feel like it does slightly change when you have a companion, because the companion does that for, at least Midna did that for you. Same thing with Fi. You felt connected because you had someone helpful to like guide you.
Yeah, that's a good point actually. I didn't consider that.
Yeah, but I mean, here's the we don't even know if Breath of the Wild has that either, so it might also change. So like, I'm just, Nintendo, release a new something about Breath of the Wild, anything new.
Give us something.
I'm tired. I'm like, not till this day, but like as of recent, they released more gameplay. Like I want to say not even a month ago, they released more gameplay.
It was like a couple of weeks ago on Facebook.
Yeah, they keep doing that, and it's like this is all on the Great Plateau. We've seen everything. Like the Fire and Ice eras though were new to me, but I mean, you get what I mean. Like it's just so little and such a tease, and it's just like, show us just a new character, artwork of a new concept, something, anything.
Yeah.
I will take it and I will eat it up.
I think they're honestly just waiting to gear up for like the reveal of the NX, and then they'll probably like release the floodgates and show everything. Well, not everything, but show some more Breath of the Wild stuff.
They should not show everything. I mean, Zelda has done a really good job to keep games on the wraps. I mean, a good example would be Twilight Princess. If you didn't like really look into it and you played the game blind for the first time, you would not expect Ganon was actually the final boss.
Yeah, no, for sure.
But what they're doing in this game is they have Calamity Ganon, so maybe Calamity Ganon isn't the final boss. Maybe that's just something they're trying to show off to like represent the game with, and then bam, you see something way more menacing, way more evil, and something that makes way more sense. But then again, Calamity Ganon has caused so much terror to Hyrule that you would only expect it's the final boss. I just want to be surprised. I want a curveball. I think that's what I'm really getting at here. Like, surprise me, Nintendo. I don't want to be able to like just guess what's going to happen in this game.
Yeah, neither do I. And I think that's a big reason why they haven't shown a lot of like the plot in this game. And I really don't want them to. Like, I want to know more about the game, but I don't think I really want to know more about the plot of the game. Like, if they showed us some maybe seemingly unimportant stuff that like wouldn't affect the overall like surprises of the plot, but still give us more details as to, you know, where this game fits in the timeline per se, or other questions that we all want to know about the game, I would be okay with that. But for the most part, I do kind of want to go into it with as little information as possible, just for that first playthrough experience.
Yeah, it's definitely really exciting. It's just when the game has been held for so long,
yeah,
it's just it's also very exciting to get the small bits of info. It doesn't matter what it is. It's just like it's happening and it becomes more to life. So like, I mean, time does fly, but
it's been a long time.
It's been a freaking long time. Like, come on. I know eventually I'm gonna be sitting on my computer chair playing the game and being like, well, it's here, but until then it feels like that's never gonna happen.
Yeah. So March, hopefully, man. March 2017. We can only hope.
Is that the official announcement?
I think that's
because then there's the first quarter of.
Yeah, I think that's like when Nintendo said they want to release the NX, and it makes sense to me that they would release the NX and Breath of the Wild at the same time.
Yeah. No. Yeah. It should be definitely it's going to be a launch
title.
For
yeah.
Sure. Because they already announced it. Like, this is the only game we know that is coming out to the NX. Other than that, the NX is completely useless. Like,
yeah.
So they better launch it. That'd be so dumb not to. I can see the sales going down a lot if they didn't, because you'd need a blockbuster game from Nintendo for them to release to get their console. Like, with the Wii U, I feel like everyone purchased it because of. There was no reason, honestly. Was there a reason to get the Wii U on release? I think
the only like major launch title from Nintendo for the Wii U, if memory serves me well, was New Super Mario Bros.
Yeah, Wii U. Yeah, you're right.
I don't think that was, and I think that's one of the biggest blunders of the Wii U, honestly. Like, I was thinking about that like last week too. Like, why did the system not do so well? And I mean, one of the reasons was the lack of launch titles. Like, it was a good couple of years before Nintendo really released any, like, major system sales. And I would say maybe the first one was, like, 3D World, but that was, like, 2 or 3 years after the console released.
Yeah, and that wasn't even, like, the Mario game we were waiting for. That was a really fun and good 4-player Mario game, but that wasn't the main Mario game for the Wii U. I feel like, at least for me, I didn't feel like we got it. Like, I was waiting for something like, I'm not saying I want Galaxy 3, but I'm saying something like that, or like Sunshine, or like whatever else. But yeah, I don't know. Hopefully the NX is everything we want it to be. I mean, it's whatever, you know. If it doesn't launch with it, I'm still gonna get it. It's not
same.
going to stop me. So. It's not. Yeah, we're too much of fanboys to like really be affected. I'd say it's, you know, people who are like not as into these games as we are. So our opinions will always have a bias. But I mean, if anything, we do kind of crap on Nintendo pretty hard for being.
Oh, absolutely. Fanboys. Like, it's definitely like it goes both ways. Like, I will be loyal to Nintendo, like probably to my deathbed. But I will also call out all their crap and like their recent games and systems and stuff like that. I have no problem doing that.
No, yeah, I'll do the exact same. Because, you know, some of it is, you know, kind of uncalled for. But, you know, hopefully Breath of the Wild is everything, you know, we want. But who really knows? We're not really going to even get an idea until we get more gameplay. We're kind of just left in the dark to analyze what we currently have. But I feel like we are going a little off topic with the discussion itself.
Yeah,
so I guess I'm gonna end it off here. You have anything else to say, Matt, about you know, Breath of the Wild?
No, I think we covered pretty much everything that we could have covered. So, I mean, pretty good general discussion, man. Not gonna lie. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, no, thanks for joining, man, and thank you all so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed, be sure to leave a like, and make sure to check out Matt. Link will be in the description. He also does Zelda content and, you know, stuff about Breath of the Wild. So if you want more Zelda stuff, check him out. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching once again. I've been ZeldaMaster.
And I've been AwesomeFaceProd.
Yep, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye, guys.